Happy New Year's. It's a new year. It's a new day. Yes, I'm up and ready to go. I tell you, it's been a great year. Um, and it's been a year of just really changing my mindset on some things. And we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. But today I want to talk about being an heir. And I have my heir shirt on with the crown. And it's a reminder to me, um, you know, um, I started this group first, which was Living in the Overflow, but then it evolved to Kingdom Heirs. And so, as I was saying the other day, that all of my shirts, sayings have a story behind them. And so, being a kingdom heir, and I have it here on the sleeve, my logo, like I said, it's a reminder to me that I am an heir to the king. And what I mean by that is that God, my father, owns everything. The earth, everything you see is his. And I'm just a tenant. I'm just here as a tenant on this earth. But being a child of the king to a rich father, a wealthy father that owns resources that have lasted through time, I don't have to fight for what belongs to me. It already belongs to me. If you think about, King Charles and them, they're born into wealth. And so they're groomed throughout life to walk in the legacy of their family. And so they don't walk around with a mindset of someone who is poor. They already know that they're wealthy as a family. And so throughout my life, I've learned that I belong to a wealthy father. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the definition of an heir as a person legally entitled to the property or rank of another on that person's death. And so, I'm also an heir to a natural father. My father passed away, and when he passed away, the things that he owned and managed while he was on earth was then passed down to my sister and I when he passed away. And so part of what he passed down was his father's land. My grandfather owned, and his father owned over 100 acres of land in South Carolina, which we still own, is still a family land today. It's been passed down through generations. And so that's how an heir, and some families don't pass anything down, but that is how God designed it for your wealth to be passed down through the generations, through to your children and their children. And so there was things that I inherited when my father passed away. I inherited a house. I inherited land. And when I say I, because my sister watched these videos as well, she did as well. But I'm talking about when I say I'm just saying what my father passed down. There was a boat. There was a motorcycle. There was a car. It was a house full of things. Like to this day, I still have my father's pot set. I can remember as a little girl, like my father would, you know, he was a single dad raising two girls, but like he would invest things that he invested money in. Like he would buy a good vacuum cleaner. Those are the days back then where people knock on your door and say, "Hey, I have a vacuum cleaner for sale." And he had pots and glasses that I have in my china cabinet today. I still use his pot. So there are certain things that you can purchase that you can pass down, like jewelry and art, you know. You can pass down through generations and it will still hold its value or increase in value. And so one of the things that God left for us is that these are the five foundations of wealth. If you want to build wealth, He gave us a seed bearing fruit. So apples, oranges, lemons, avocados, things that you can eat, replant, and continue to feed your family for centuries. Um, Water. The earth is filled with water, and now they sell water. Like, you think about it, when I was a little girl, I'm 58, we didn't buy water. But today, you buy bottled water, which is water is free, but we buy it. Um, and that's a good business to be involved in. Gold and silver. That's what I started doing over the years that my family started. Silver and gold. Very valuable as currency, and it increases in value over time. These are things that God left for us. These are things that we inherit. Oil, onyx, precious stones, diamonds. My birthstone is a diamond. I used to collect diamonds. Like, I would just go and buy me, I had carats of diamonds until, I would give them away, like 1 and 2 carat diamond, but again, we buy some of these things we consume them versus utilizing the resources to create wealth for your family. So these are things that you can think about as an heir. So again, I designed a shirt that says heir with a crown to remind me that I'm an heir. So I don't have to be out there begging, or I don't have to be poor. I don't have to be, like, there's no lack in God's kingdom. There's no lack. So why am I walking around in lack? God has given me everything that I need every day. There's new mercies. He gives us daily bread, like daily ideas. Even though today we celebrate, okay, this is a day that we can start fresh. Every day, He gives us, every day that you wake up and open your eyes, that's a new day filled with His resources that you need to accomplish your dreams and goals. So that's something that's a different mindset. Like, there is no lack. There is no shortage. There's opportunities everywhere. The earth is filled with treasures, like, gold and silver. I've seen videos to where people go out, like, you see you see them out on a beach with a little machine that detects silver and gold, because, throughout the years, man-made wealth, has tried to minimize God's true wealth. And if you tap into any of those items, agriculture, water, gold, oil, precious stones, you are going to be well off. Matter of fact, this last week, we went to Canada to celebrate Christmas. And so there was severe weather. We got stuck in a blizzard. We drove right into the eye of the blizzard. Like, my daughter was like, Mom, I think we should go around. It's only a 5-minute difference. And I'm like, no, I want to go this way. God is going to get us there. God is with us. And God was with us. He was with us. But we had to take a detour through Pennsylvania, like Erie, Pennsylvania. And I'm telling you, that whole area was nothing but, vineyards. I mean, no matter where you turn, every house on the side and the back, some in front, some, miles and miles, the whole city was nothing but a vineyard. And even when we crossed over to Canada, we were in Niagara. We went to Niagara on the lake, but nothing but vineyards. Land filled with milk and honey. Land, Happy New Year's. Thank you for joining my live. You know, the land was filled with milk and honey. Like my grandfather, and I'm in my 50s, and I'm just now realizing um, a whole different perspective on purchasing land. Like not just land, like, where I live, my house is sitting on my land and that's it. And like, I've taken, follow Robert Kiyosaki, and he was like, your home is like a liability, it's not an asset. But then I'm thinking about my grandfather. He had a small little house on this, you know, hundreds of acres. Um, but like after like when my dad and them lived there, he had 11 siblings. But my grandfather's farm, he grew tobacco, he grew cotton, he grew produce, he grew, he turned it later in life into commercial property because he had a store, not so much a store, but a place where people, there was a factory across the street. So he solved a problem. He built a small cedar building, and he served lunch every day. So every day he would go over. So not only did he serve lunch, but it was a store, so you can go in there and get you a nice cold Coca-Cola. I remember the Coca-Cola bottles, and he would sell, I remember candy, but there was a kitchen in there. So after, he would get up, have breakfast. We cook him breakfast, not just a normal breakfast. We made homemade biscuits and stuff like that. And then he would go off to the store, and then we would stay at the house and do our chores. And then about lunchtime, before lunchtime, we would go over and fry up pork chop sandwiches. And then the guys and women would come over and have lunch. So he turned it into commercial property as well. But there was a pecan tree. That's what I was saying. So all of these generated income. And so after everyone left home, he just then rented out the land to farmers. So now I have a different perspective. I'm going to go out and look for land that produces milk and honey, things that God has already provided for me and air. And so a lot of things, you just have to go out and get what God has left you to be successful and wealthy and prosperous. And so, we were driving through Canada, and I'm telling you, I was just curious. I mean, there were small houses from trailers all the way to big mansions. They all had vineyards all around them. And so when we got to Canada, we were able to talk to some of the wineries. And so how does that work? I was curious, like, how does that work when I have a vineyard in my backyard? Does that portion belong to me? And it was saying, like, again, once, a family member gets older, and the children that are workers running the land move away, they rent out their space. And so that's how they're able to continue their wealth throughout. So even though I'm not a farmer, I would love to be, but I know that if I get land that does farm some type of crop, then I have to either rent it out or hire somebody to come in and do that for me. But I can still benefit from it. So, don't let the world downplay what God has provided through real estate, through, because the land, everything that you can see, belongs to Him. And so, we don't have to fight and argue over something that already belongs to us. We just have to just tap in and go after it. And so I just wanted to share that today. That was just, like I said, I haven't been doing live videos for a while, but behind the scenes I am working, and I still have so much to say, but I just, you go through season. There's a time and a place for everything. There's a time where you get, I'm getting ready to branch out into looking for commercial property. So, I've just been, digging in that information. So when I get out there, that, I'm educated and I can make educated decisions. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And a lot of times I just be holding back, but it's like God, that's when you're called. It's like he does not give you rest. He makes you get up and deliver his word. Um, but yeah, but I will get some speakers lined up for this year. I'm excited about 2023 because I'm looking for some commercial property this year. I'm really gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna invite one of the people that I'm gonna invite, because you need to know that it's just everyday people. I'm just an everyday person. No one special. I'm not, no guru, but you know what? I'm taking you through the process with me, sharing the nuggets that these are things, strategies that you can use. Um, what you can use, and what you can't use, don't worry about it. But the point is, as long as you're moving towards your goals and dreams and accomplishing them. But one person, she has agreed to um, talk with me. She's just an everyday person, but twice, if not three times, I'll let her tell her story. But she has purchased, land, a house where she lives. She bought a house for like 300,000, but she bought it on acres of land, and then sold it for over $1 million, and then she repeated it again. So she's not a claim uh, investor, like real estate investor, but she knows how to go out and find property that yields her over $1 million. And so she just she did it again. She bought another house which was on acres of land. So like when you drive down my street, my house, you could drive down to see my house. Her house, you got to drive down into the driveway. You got to drive a minute to get to her house. And she just sold her house to Intel. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I know there's people here in different states, but Intel is in our city getting ready to build and provide jobs. And, she's retired. Matter of fact, she works part-time at Kroger's, when you go get your gas, that little house. If you were to see her, you would not even put two and two together that this lady is a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? She's just a everyday person working. You go buy gas and she takes your money. But there's something that I can learn from her. I told her, I said, you know what? When I go out and find me some land, I'm taking her with me. Like, I can learn something from her. She's just an everyday person. Yes, everyday people can be millionaires. So I'm going to talk to her. I'm excited about that conversation because, like I said, she has an eye for buying property that, that $300,000 house and land turned into $1 million for her and her family. And so, and she did it a couple of times. So, I'm excited about her coming. I'm rambling about that, but I'm excited for her to come and share how she does that and how she's done that several times. And so, but there's some lessons that she's learned along the way. And so that's the beauty. When you have people that have done it, they can help you avoid the pitfalls. So that's the end of my conversation today about being an heir. I definitely will have more to share about that. It already belongs to you. The dreams that you have, your desires, it all comes from God. So he has already provided the provision for you to get it. You just have to put all the pieces together and go after what belongs to you rightfully. So, Happy New Year. See you on the next video. Bye.